हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. He is a new Prabhuji here who will be joining Prabhuji from now on.
Wonderful.
Krishnamurti.
Thank you. Thank you.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु। हरे कृष्णा
Hare
माता जी।
Krishna Prabhu. Dandavad pranam.
Prabhuji, welcome to the group, Prabhuji. Dandavad pranam. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Shanti Prabhu, you are aware of ISKCON before?
माता प्रभु जी, I have joined in studied Gita.com. That is in
Oh,
Chennai.
so wonderful, wonderful.
Amarendra Gupta.
So you are quite conversant with what we are talking. Good.
And then I have right from since 2019 I have joined with them, Prabhuji, in Corona time.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
I am grateful to you, Mataji, Prabhuji, for having your request.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now we'll have Bhagavad Gita. Then we'll have this other session. So,
Okay, Mataji. Okay, Prabhuji. I will be with you.
yeah. So let's have some Kirtan before others join. So, Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I have great pleasure to welcome all devotees for this session of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where we try to, with all humility and gratitude, we try to dive a little deeper into the message of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the timeless message of Bhagavad Gita that was originally given by Krishna to the sun god, Vivaswan, and which is again being repeated through Arjun for all of us. So Bhagavad Gita is in fact a timeless message. But because of time, passage of time, things are lost. Sakale neka mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Krishna says, by passage of time, everything is lost, including the sacred message of the Lord. It is lost or it is distorted. If it is distorted, it is as good as lost. And that's what is going on today. Srila Prabhupada said, before I wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is, there were at least 400 different versions of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, meaning the shlokas are not changed. The shlokas are the same 700 shlokas verbatim, but interpretations are so many. As a result, the true message of Krishna has been lost. Why? When somebody enters who has ulterior motives, he wants name, fame, power, position. He has his own philosophy, but people will not listen to his philosophy because he's an unknown person. So he takes the name of Bhagavad Gita. And in the name of Gita, he is giving his own interpretations. He is trying to deliver his own philosophy in the disguise of speaking Bhagavad Gita. So that is the way how they are exploiting Bhagavad Gita, which is meant for ordinary people, common people like us who are suffering in this world. But these so-called intellectual people, they take hold of Bhagavad Gita, write their own interpretation, misinterpretations. And through that, they try to spread their own wrong philosophies. So that's why Krishna had to come again. And he had to give Bhagavad Gita afresh through Arjuna. And Krishna says, why I am giving it to you? Because you are non-envious. Non-envious. So it's a very, very fundamental qualification. One should be a devotee of Krishna and should be non-envious. That is a qualification that Arjuna had. So we should also try constantly to remove every sign of envy from our heart. And because Supreme Lord is a proprietor of everything, the whole creation is engineered through Maya Shakti, which is an energy of Krishna. Everything material around us is through the external energy of Krishna, Mahamaya Shakti, which is Krishna. And then all the living entities, they are part and parcel of Krishna. They are the Tatasa Shakti of Krishna. So when we surrender to Krishna, we should realize everything is actually Krishna. So how can there be any envy? If I find someone who is more educated, more wealthy, more famous, more beautiful, whatever criteria, we become envious of that person. But rather we should see, oh, this is another manifestation of the opulence of Krishna. One small spark of Krishna's opulence is manifesting through this. We have read in chapter 10 and 11 how Krishna is explaining how he is manifesting through everything around us. Among fish, I am shark. I am among mountains, I am Himalayas. He is telling among rivers, I am river Ganges. Among the generals, I am Kartikeya. Right? Among archers, I am Lord Ram. All these things. So among everything, among water bodies, I am the ocean. So he's telling, wherever you see glory, wherever you see opulence being displayed, realize that Krishna is manifesting through this. So if you are having any envy in your heart, you should realize, I am actually envying Krishna. Because none of us have got anything our own. Nothing really belongs to us. That's why Prabhupada would always quote this phrase, don't be proud of borrowed plumes. Borrowed plumes, plume is a decoration on the head, and that plume is actually borrowed, and you want to show off with that. Whatever we have is given by Krishna, it will be taken away by Krishna at the time of death. Right? Mrityu sarvaharascha. In the form of death, I will take away everything what you have. Better that you willingly surrender to me in love, acknowledging Krishna as a supreme, original proprietor, master of everything. Then, in that mood, if you surrender, then you get peace. Then you get peace. Bhoktaraviketamasham, sarvalogam maheshwaram, sangrudam sarva bhutanam, yhatva mam, shanti mrichati. So Krishna shows the way how to become peaceful. We should give up envy from our heart, and we should see everything equally. And as a Pandita, we should see the super soul situated within the heart of every living entity. We are not the body, we are the spirit soul. That is the lesson, Krishna opens Bhagavad Gita with that message. And Prabhupada, wherever he writes, even when he is concluding Bhagavatam, he would rather focus that you are not the body, you are the spirit soul. When we become soul conscious, alone we can give up envy from our heart. As long as we are body conscious, the envy will continue to remain and torment us. That is the way material life is arranged. So let us go into wherever we left off. We are in the 3rd chapter. We have completed 37th shloka, or should we start 37?
We need to start, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare
We
Krishna.
discussed 37, Prabhuji, but then you said we'll continue again from 37.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
So in 36, we saw Arjuna questioning. And that was a question that touched the chord in all our hearts. So Arjuna is asking, even though a person is very intelligent, he knows right and wrong, he knows what should be done, what should not be done, what is Shreyas and what is Preyas, a person knows. But despite knowing, he feels impelled by some kind of a force to do the wrong things, to engage in the wrong activity by his mind, words, and actions, by his body, engaging in the wrong things, knowing fully well it is wrong. So what is it that is forcing one to act in that way? Why should a living entity act like that? We all act in our self-interest, but sometimes we are forced to act against our own self-interest. Knowing that it is not good for me, we behave in that way, we act in that way. Why? That question Krishna is going to answer. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kama Yesha Krodha Yesha Rajo Gunasamudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidhyenam Iha Vairinam. This shloka should be memorized. And these shlokas, you can revise every day. Whatever shlokas, what I give for memorization, we can read it every day so that it can enter deeply into our heart. It should sink and stay in our heart forever. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. So many things Krishna is saying in this shloka. He is saying, that force which is impelling you to act against your own self-interest, knowing that it is sinful, knowing that it will bring adverse reactions, which you may have to suffer life after life for many, many, many years. Knowing this, you indulge in such wrong activities as though you are helplessly pushed by some force. What is that force? So Krishna says it is lust. Lust means unsatiated desire to enjoy. Desire to enjoy, that is lust. When I desire to enjoy, it's called lust. When I desire Krishna to enjoy, that's called prema. When I want to enjoy, it's called kama. That is lust. Kama is lust. Atma Indriya Priti Vancha is called kama. That means Atma Indriya Priti means I want to enjoy my senses. That's called kama. Krishna Indriya Priti Vancha, it's called prema, premanam. So that is the only difference. Our kama, we have to transform into prema. Rather, it is the prema which has become distorted into kama. As spirit souls, we all have prema in our heart. Prema is love. And that is what love is actually transformation of joy. The soul is Satchit Ananda. So joy is integral part of the soul. And the soul's joy externally manifests as prema. And when there is prema, there can be no room for any hatred or anger or envy or lust or greed. No chance. Prema will cover everything like a flood. When prema is flowing in the heart, and prema means only one thing. What is prema? Prema means desire to serve Krishna. That's only, there is no other definition of prema. If you have any other definition of prema, remove it from your heart. Prema has only one definition. Krishna Indriya Priti Vancha. I want to satisfy the senses of Krishna. And Krishna has another name in this connection. Does anybody recollect? What is that name? Krishna's name in connection with the senses.
Rishikesha Prabhuji.
Rishikesha
Rishikesha
Rishikesh. He is the master of all senses. He is the proprietor of all senses. He is the controller of all senses. All senses belong to him. And these senses are not material senses. If you are, the moment I say senses, if you think, oh, material senses, remove that thought. These are senses which are integral to the spirit. These senses are not born out of the three modes of material nature. Sattva, Raja, Tamoguna have nothing to do with these senses. These are the original senses of the spiritual entity of the soul. And Krishna is the owner of that. What we have in this material world, the senses manifesting through this body, which is made of flesh, bones, blood, and all these things, are obnoxious things. These senses are simply a perverted reflection, and these are operating out of the three modes of material nature. We should get rid of this. We should surrender this to Krishna, and then Krishna will give you the original spiritual senses with which we can serve Krishna nicely. As long as we don't have those senses, we have to beg Krishna, please give me those senses by which I can serve you nicely. Till that time, we should realize that whatever senses I have, with whatever limitations, they are meant to serve Krishna. Who is the best example for this? Prabhupada quotes again and again in Bhagavad Gita. Who is that?
Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj.
Ambarish Maharaj is the best example how every single sense organ, whether it is knowledge gathering or working sense, they are all meant to be used in the service of Krishna. If we can do that, even in gradual way, inch by inch, if we slowly make our senses surrender to Krishna, use them only in the service of Krishna. That's why Prabhupada translates bhakti into loving devotional service. It's not simply love. Bhakti is not simply love. Bhakti means loving devotional service. People will generally say bhakti means devotion. No. Devotion means a feeling of the heart. No. It's more than that. It has to overflow, and then it will become action. Loving devotional service to the Lord. So that is what is actually prema, and it is an integral part of the soul. And we are trying to reclaim that by surrendering to Krishna. So prema means love of Krishna only. And kama means diverting our attention externally, away from Krishna. Then we become trapped by Maya. Maya Dare, Japati Adare. The Krishna Bahirmukha Jiva, soul that turns away from Krishna, caught by Maya Devi. And then she gives you a subtle body, she gives you a gross body, and she gives you all facilities to enjoy. Go on. She's only fulfilling our own desire. How can we blame Maya Devi? She's only addressing our need instantly. The moment the soul wants to enjoy away from Krishna, all these things happen. The soul is here and so gross body, subtle body, sense objects, everything is in place and go on enjoying. So Krishna is warning Arjun, it is lust only. And from where does lust arise? Passion, Rajogun. So we should be very careful about Rajogun. Whatever induces Rajogun in us, we should try to avoid that. And we should sublimate our Rajogun into Sattvagun. What is sublimation? Rajogun means acting in a way that I can enjoy the fruits of my action. That is Rajogun. You can sublimate it into Sattvagun by acting in a way that it will give pleasure to Krishna. I want to please Krishna. And that is the only reason why I am so active, why I am so busy. People who see you will think, oh, he's so passionate, but passionate for Krishna. That is Sattva. So we have to sublimate. Whatever we want to do, we want to build a nice building, multi-storied building, build it for Krishna. I want to make a lot of money. Let that money be used in the service of Krishna. I want to become famous for Krishna. We have to transform whatever desire we have into Krishna. But you have to be very, very careful. Why very, very careful? The moment we try to dovetail our passionate desires into service of Krishna, we may start cheating ourselves. Thinking I am doing for Krishna, we may do for ourselves. For example, I may say, I want to buy a big car to serve Krishna. I will take the car to temple. I will sometimes take devotees to the temple. So I can carry provisions to the temple. Like that, I may say, and I may buy a car. Then if you see, 90% of the car will be for my sense pleasure. 10% maybe. Still not completely bad, but you see how you can be distracted. So our best way will be to surrender ourselves completely to the Lord. Not that I have this passionate desire, I cannot give it up. So I will try to. It's only a second rate, because we can easily be lost. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would warn that in lust, there are many categories. Trying to satisfy our external senses is a lust only. But if you go higher, then you start looking for name and fame, power, position, prestige. So this is another manifestation of lust. Once we have come to spiritual line, we know fully well that sense gratification is not good, which means the obvious forms of sense gratification through the eyes, nose, ears, skin, etc. But then, in a subtle way, the lust will attack you. How does it attack? I want to become a famous speaker for Prabhupada. I want to become famous speaker for Prabhupada. So, what is hiding there? The desire to become famous, the desire to become known, the desire to win popularity. But I am doing it for Prabhupada only. So, it is our heart alone which can tell us. Or we have to go to senior devotees and ask, am I thinking rightly? Am I thinking rightly? Actually, the correct way to serve Krishna is what? In the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant. Every glory should be offered to the parampara. Nothing should be written. Even one person should not be written. If somebody praises you, oh, you are a nice devotee, instantly that praise should go to the parampara. Even if you allow one fraction of 1% to remain with you, you are in trouble. This will accumulate and the pride will lift its head, and Krishna hates pride in the hearts of his devotees. You know so many stories how Krishna destroyed the pride. Indra, for example, how Krishna destroyed the pride of Indra. So like that, because why Krishna destroys pride? Can anyone answer this question? Why doesn't Krishna want his devotees to be proud?
Prabhuji, probably pride doesn't allow one to surrender completely. So that is somewhat selfish desire or activities.
Yeah, that's a very good,
associated with pride.
Very good analysis. But at the same time, don't think that Krishna is forcing you against your will to surrender. Because What Krishna is trying to do is trying to make you as happy as Krishna is. As his children, he wants to pass on that wealth to you. That joy that Krishna is eternally experiencing. That is what he wants to pass on to us. We are satisfied with very, very inferior pleasures, very, very unspeakably inferior, obnoxious pleasures. And we are accustomed to that. And we want that only. When Krishna is there waiting to offer something higher, we say, no, reject. So Krishna wants to give it to us. Because Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehnaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. We are constantly pulled by sense gratification of an inferior variety in this material world. But how to become free from that? You have to experience a higher taste. And Krishna is waiting to give that higher taste. But you cannot experience it as long as you have this false ego within you. False ego means I am this body. You have identification which is other than being servant of Krishna. You are identifying with the material body. And from the material body only your pride, envy, everything arises. And pride is the ultimate, block from shedding your ego. So Krishna doesn't want. Krishna wants to remove that false ego so that he can fully unite with you. So when Kanyakumar Ghosh Prabhu said, it prevents surrender. How that surrender will happen? If pride is preventing that surrender, what will induce that surrender? What will facilitate that surrender? Tell me, what is that quality which induces surrender in us?
Krishna Prema. More of Krishna Prema.
It is love that will induce surrender. I have given you this example many times. Between a newborn baby and a mother, who is the surrendered person?
The mother.
It is the mother who is surrendered. The baby doesn't even know the meaning of surrender. Baby is not surrendered. The baby is crying out of hunger. The baby is crying out of some discomfort. Stomach is paining, whatever. And the child doesn't even know whom to go to. It's having some discomfort in its body and it is crying out of that. The baby is not surrendered. Though the baby is completely dependent, but the baby doesn't even realize that. It is the mother who is completely surrendered to the needs of the child. She is in so much love with the child that she doesn't even sleep 24 hours. She is constantly waiting on the child. What is inducing that? Her love for the child. Because she is in so much love with the child, she doesn't want the child to suffer even for a fraction of a moment. Even before the child is hungry, she wants to feed the child so that the child will be always happy. This kind of loving, devotional service you see in the mother. And that is called actually surrender. Same way, if we love Krishna, which is actually hiding in our heart, if we can bring it out, then we can experience the same kind of surrender. So please don't think my surrender to Krishna should be somehow forced by my guru, or it has to be done in a forcible way. No, that's not that. Because, see, in this material world, surrender means somebody is holding a gun to your head and says, raise your hand. We understand surrender means that kind of force only. The moment the word surrender is used, we think it is some kind of a compulsion. Oh, somehow I should surrender to Krishna because that is the only way to save. Otherwise, I am suffering. I don't want to continue to suffer. So what to do? I have to surrender to Krishna. Then only my sufferings will go. Not in that mood, not in that grudging mood. Oh, there is so much I want to enjoy in this material world, but Krishna would not tolerate that. I have to surrender. I know I am suffering so much in my life. Even though I have tried so much, I am unable to get sense gratification. So grudgingly, let me surrender to Krishna. Let me at least get rid of this suffering. Even though Krishna will stop me from sense gratification, which I very much want, but still I am unable to gain sense gratification by my own effort. Rather, I am getting pain only. So I will surrender against my wish. That is not surrender. That's not surrender. Actually, remember, if someone is putting a gun to your head and says, surrender, then you are raising your hand all right. But are you really surrendering? You are only waiting for a chance to escape from this fellow. Right? Can I snatch the gun from his hand? Can I trip his legs? Can I distract him some way I can run away? We are only meditating like that. We are not, that's not called surrender. Please understand surrender in the inner meaning of what is surrender. So here we are talking about surrender of the body, mind, and soul, and intelligence, everything. And it happens only in love. So here it is the opposite of that. It is lust. Lust means I want to please my senses. And that arises out of a sense of rajogun, passion, desire to enjoy fruitive activity, the results of fruitive activity. So, and when it is not fulfilled, lust will become wrath. Frustration. First it is irritation, then it is frustration, then it is anger. Accumulate, becomes anger. And that anger is the all-devouring sinful enemy of the world. So the word Mahasano means it has great hunger. Its hunger cannot be satisfied. It's called Mahasano. And Mahapapma, greatly sinful. Try to remember it. Fix these thoughts in your mind. The danger of lust and anger is Mahapapma, Mahasana. It is always feeding the lust. So understand, Arjun, that this is your worst enemy. So when lust is satisfied, it becomes more greed, demanding more. When lust is not satisfied, then it becomes anger. And anger transforms into illusion. I'm reading from the purpose. And what is this illusion? To think I am this body. And that will continue. As long as illusion, what is illusion? To think I am the body. So that will continue. Therefore, lust is the greatest enemy of the soul. And it is a lust only, answering the previous question, it is lust only which induces the pure soul to remain entangled in the material world by performing passionate activities with a view to enjoying this material world. And another point Prabhupada is making, wrath is the manifestation of the mode of ignorance. Look at this. So it started as lust, and lust arises from rajogun, passion. But when lust is not satisfied, it becomes anger. Anger means it is tamogun. You have descended into ignorance. So you started with rajogun in lust and you descended into tamogun. It is ignorance. So that means instead of rising to sattvagun, you fall down into tamogun. So rajogun, tamogun are so intricately connected. If it is satisfied, your lust grows. But it cannot go on like that. Sometime you have to feel frustration and then you descend into tamogun. So that is the warning which is given. So Krishna is warning, take care. Don't fall down. You have to go up. You have to go to sattva and then you have to go to Suddha Sattva. So Krishna says that. And then the second paragraph, Prabhupada gives a bit of philosophy, the ultimate philosophy. Prabhupada says, what is the soul? The soul is simply an expansion of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord expands in two ways. Does anybody know? Supreme Lord expands in two ways. What are these two ways? Expands himself.
Right.
Sorry?
Primary expansion and the secondary expansion.
We call it Swamsa Vibhinnamsa. Right? Swamsa means Vishnu Tattva. All the expansions of Swamsa, they are all called Vishnu Tattva. Say Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksai Vishnu, Kshirodaksai Vishnu, or Balaramji, or Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. All these people, they are all expansions. Or you can say the various avatars, Leela avatars, Manvantra avatars. They are all Vishnu Tattva. So it's Swa Amsa. It is all the Supreme Lord only in so many forms. That is Swa Amsa. Vibhinnamsa are the souls like us. Vibhinnamsa, they are the separated energy of Krishna. We call them Tatastha Shakti. We are the marginal energies, Tatastha Shakti of the Lord. We are the separated energies of the Lord. So the separated energy can never be God. The Swamsa is always Krishna only. Like you have a 1000-watt bulb, then you have some 500-watt bulb, 100-watt bulb, etc. The same electricity is flowing, but depending on the need, in one room you want 100-watt, some room you want 0-watt bulb, because that is the service you want from that bulb in that particular room. So the Lord takes up so many forms to satisfy the varying needs of the souls.
Excuse me, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhuji, that means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Swamsa, isn't it?
Absolutely. He's not Swamsa.
He's
He's avatar. He is
Avatar.
not himself. See,
Okay.
there is something called avatar and something called avatari.
Okay. Okay.
Avatari means what? One who takes avatar is called avatar.
Okay.
Whatever comes out from him is called avatar. But the one who takes these avatars, the original person, Krishna, Bhagavan Swayam, Swayam Bhagavan, that is Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna only, not different from Krishna. That is
Okay. Okay.
Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the same persons, but the same Krishna appears as a devotee in the mood of Radharani.
Oh.
So there's no difference. So he's called Mahavaganda. He's not an avatara.
Okay.
Others are all avatara. Krishna is avatari, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is avatari.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. So in the second paragraph, you will see that little philosophy Prabhupada is mentioning that living entities are part and parcel of the Lord's Ananda only. So we are all Satchitananda. All the souls are Satchitananda. And we all have independence. Just like the Lord is Swarat. Swarat means independent. We are also independent. But by misusing that independence, we have turned away from Krishna. Then we have become conditioned. So actually, there are so many amazing ways in which this is analyzed by the Acharyas. Actually, they say, what is bondage and what is liberation? They say there is no bondage at all. Bondage is only a mental concoction that's called conditioning. When this conditioning is given up, you are no longer bound. That means you are never bound. You are not bound even now. But you are thinking that I am bound. You are accepting that bondage. You are accepting. Same way you can give it up also. So the bondage is never there. It is never there. You are only holding and you are only going to leave it. Right? Yanisha Sarva Bhutanam, Tasyam Jagrati Samyami. What is day for the conditioned souls? It is night for the liberated soul. And what is night for the conditioned soul? It's day for the liberated soul. So that our conditioning is also our illusion. Ignorance is what? Ignorance means thinking the wrong as right. And we are trapped in that consciousness. This body is not me at all, but I'm thinking I am this body. So that is where illusion arises. Connection with matter is illusion. It is not real. Soul is spirit. It has nothing to do with matter. So that is what Prabhupada is saying, that minute independence is misused. Now, if you see Bible, if you see the life of Jesus Christ, then you will know how this independence should be used. In Bible, you see, Jesus is going to be crucified the following day. But today he's praying to his Father. Who is the Father? Not Joseph. His Father is Supreme Lord, like for all of us. Our Father is Supreme Lord. Right? He's praying. What he's praying? Tomorrow I am going to be crucified in a very painful way. I don't want to suffer like that. That is not my will. I don't want to suffer. But at the same time, my dear Father, your will is more important. Why? Because your will is in the interest of every living entity. God's will is not in favor of someone, against someone. God has no distinction. Between the worst criminal and the greatest saint, God makes no distinction. Please try to understand all these things. Lord is never partial. Lord loves everyone equally. Rather, you can say to the most fallen souls, the Lord is more compassionate. We call him Patita Pavan. So, Jesus Christ is praying that this is my will. But my dear Lord, my Father, I know you have a will, and that is more important. To serve that will is more important. So, my dear Father, I am not asking you to save me. If it is your will that I should become crucified, let it happen. Let thy will be done. Does anyone have any questions on this prayer?
Prabhuji, in this regard, one doubt, why Lord wanted Jesus to be crucified that way?
That you don't worry. You can never understand why God does what.
Okay. Right. Okay, it is beyond our scope.
Instead of entering into a long discussion on this, I would rather say, no, we don't know. We don't know the will of the Lord. We cannot always demand to know the will of the Lord. It will be revealed at the appropriate time, but we have to realize that nothing happens against the will of the Lord in this world. Even the
Right.
leaf does not drop without the permission of God. Why the leaf is dropping or why the leaf is not dropping, we don't know.
So
Yeah.
Lord has put in the CD within us. The CD is fit by Lord. So we do not know what is destined for us. So we have to leave everything to him. Krishna Arpanam.
What you have to do is you should have, like Jesus Christ, you should have that implicit loving trust in God. See, do you think Jesus suffered on the cross? What do you think? Did he suffer? They put a crown of thorns and his head was bleeding. They put nails into his palms and to his legs. And his body was being pulled, he was hanging from the cross. So every muscle was being pulled from the bone. Do you think he suffered?
No, Prabhuji, he must have completely surrendered to the Lord, and he knows that we are the part and parcel of the super soul. So maybe because of that, he must have not felt.
Very difficult for us to understand. He can speak so many words, but very, very difficult for us to understand. But the fact is, why will the Lord allow someone to suffer unnecessarily? A pure soul, which is completely surrendered to him, it is not asking anything. In fact, at the time of crucifixion, Jesus is talking to all those crucifiers. He is asking, do you think I am helpless? Do you think I cannot protect myself? One word from me, the Lord will send an army of angels to protect me. He has that kind of faith in Krishna, that kind of faith in God. So yes, so he's suffering happily. About suffering happily, there is one wonderful devotee in our parampara. He's called Prabodhananda Saraswati. How many of you heard of him?
I've heard about him, Prabhuji, read about him. I don't know.
Prabodhananda Saraswati is the uncle of Gopala Bhatta Swami, his father's brother. See, he's such a pure devotee. He writes, I have so much pleasure in circumambulating Govardhan Hill. And when I am circumambulating, sometimes the thorn pricks my leg and foot and goes deep inside. And that gives me such pleasure. He's writing. I get so much pleasure from that. So please don't try to interpret all these things. He's writing in his poetry. It's not pain, it's pleasure for him. What is pain for us? Pleasure for him. I don't know. I cannot explain if you ask me, but it's a fact. Devotees don't lie. Few devotees are letting you understand that our material consciousness is something else. Spiritual consciousness is something else. So Jesus Christ, did he suffer or not suffer? If you see in this perspective, I don't think he suffered. Do you think God wanted him to suffer so that the sinful people can be saved? All kinds of interpretations. But let us understand this. So that minute independence, Jesus did not misuse. He wanted to escape, but he did not pray for that. He prayed on the contrary, let thy will be done. If it means me getting crucified, that is actually an act of love. Jesus is not saying this grudgingly. Please try to understand. See, the more you meditate on these things, these qualities can slowly wake up in our heart. Don't just brush it aside. Nor don't think you can fully understand these things now. We are sadhaka bhaktas, but we are seeing the light at a distance. Let us appreciate that. This is the direction in which we have to go. We have to, that kind of love should flow from our heart. Then that flooding of that love, prema, will remove all that is inauspicious in our lives. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami starts by saying, what are the 6 effects of bhakti? Very beginning, he says, Kleshagni, and then he says, Shubhada. First 2 things. Kleshagni, it puts an end to all suffering. All suffering is material. And kleshagni, it is destroys all suffering. And then Shubhada, it brings all auspiciousness into the life of the devotee. This is the first two results of bhakti. The moment you enter into bhakti, these things happen. So what to speak of very advanced devotees? They are experiencing something far higher pleasure, which we cannot. We have to simply accept the words of acharyas. And that's why Krishna is saying, this material creation is given only for the souls who are misusing their independence. That minute independence we misuse. So the Lord gives facility, okay, go on, enjoy. And when we are completely baffled in our efforts to enjoy, I'm reading from the purport only, baffled in our efforts, then we start inquiring. Atato Brahma Jignasa. Immediately Shastra comes, Brahma Sutra comes to you and says, Atato Brahma Jignasa. Oh, you are feeling frustrated. You want to know the answers to why and all these things. Come to me. Now is the time for you to understand. Shastras are waiting to get you. They are the mother. They're just waiting. So, same thing Prabhupada says next paragraph. Vedanta Sutra says, now is the time to start inquiring the purpose of creation. And then ultimately, Prabhupada says so many things in his purports. See, he says, Hanuman could properly dovetail his lust and wrath in the service of Krishna. Hanumanji exhibited his anger by burning the golden city of Ravana in extreme anger. And by doing so, he became the greatest devotee. Then he quotes Arjuna. Arjuna fought. Do you think Arjuna fought in love? No, Arjuna fought in anger, wrath. But that anger was in the service of Krishna. For us, it is very difficult. For a pure devotee, every single quality becomes automatically dovetailed in the service of the Lord. As far as we are concerned, we should always try to give up passion. We should always try to give up ignorance. And we should always try to move more and more into the quality of sattva, where you are always serving without expecting any results. So that is the way we should do. But you can see these examples where even anger is doubted. 38. Dhumena briyate gannir yata darsho malena cha yatolbeno vrito garbhas tatha tenedam avritam. This is a shloka which talks about lust, how it is manifesting in different ways. 3 examples are given. One is fire covered by smoke. That is in the case of human beings. Our self-consciousness is already waking up. Is it not? We clearly see I and my body. We always say my hand, my leg, my heart, my lungs, my eyes, my ears. Who are you? I am the owner of all these things. I am not the whole body also. I am the owner of this body. Who is the soul? So that consciousness is waking up with us. We are thinking in a self-conscious way. So that's why it said it is like fire covered by smoke. The fire is the full soul consciousness. Smoke means I am thinking through the body. That is called smoke. Smoke is the material body. Fire is the soul, pure soul. When I say I am this body, it's fire with smoke. Smoke is the body. Instead of saying I, the servant of Krishna, I say I, this body. So that is smoke. Then the other example is mirror covered by dust, which is the next level of consciousness, which is partly covered like the animal existence, and even human beings who live like animals. They are in the more covering of lust is there. Lust means always, you remember, desire to enjoy, that's lust. Desire to enjoy my senses, that is lust. So it's the animal and animal-like beings. You can say the example is mirror covered by dust. That mirror will not reflect anything, completely covered by dust. Nothing can be seen through the dust. The dust must be removed. And how to remove the dust? Anyone knows the secret?
Prabhuji, Cheta Darpan Marjanam.
Haribo. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes.
Krishna uses the very same words. Cheto Darpana Marjan. Darpana means mirror. Cheto means consciousness. So the mirror of consciousness, Marjanam, wipe it clean. How? Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. By chanting the holy names of the Lord, we can clean the mirror of the heart. Tell me, is there any other way to wipe the mirror of the heart? Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The holy names of the Lord. The thing is, I think I do chant, but then I think there is a lot of disturbances. The mind gets distracted and all. It should be offenseless chanting of the holy names. I think I'm still far away from reaching that. Other than that, I have no idea.
That answer I accept, but I still have a question for you. So
Yes,
our
Prabhu.
chanting is qualitatively not as good as we want it to be.
Yes,
I am
Prabhu.
struggling, but I'm not getting good quality chanting. So shall I give it up?
No, I think repeatedly by doing it, it becomes a skill, and then I can, once I get the chanting itself as a activity, and then I can consciously engage it in understanding as I get more knowledge about Krishna and read more scriptures, my taste for chanting will also increase. So I should not give up chanting and then assume that things will take care of themselves.
Yeah, that's a good approach. But even though in your answer you are mostly saying that you are going to make the effort and you are going to succeed, it is not like that. By our sincere efforts and constantly crying for Krishna, we are going to attract his mercy.
Yes,
There is
Prabhu.
no way we can do it ourselves. We are entirely dependent on the Lord. But the Lord is only seeing, are we becoming aware of that?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
developing Krishna Prema, will it bring us more close to this thing? I mean, we can erase off this. Cheto Darpana.
Krishna Prema is the mirror.
Mirror, yeah.
Dust is your soul, material consciousness.
The false ego which is covering it.
Yes,
we need
material
to.
consciousness, false ego, ignorance.
So getting rid of all the karma, that is, as you said, karma, we get rid of it.
Yes.
Like, I mean, that is, I mean, thinking about Krishna and doing whatever we do for Krishna, it is, whatever it says will do accordingly. So
all that will happen if you try to chant sincerely.
very true.
See, I did not say chant sincerely. I said try to chant sincerely. If you want to add one more adjective, I will say try to sincerely try to chant sincerely.
Yeah, very true, Prabhuji.
Don't cheat yourself by saying, yeah, I am trying. Sincerely. Sincerely try to chant sincerely. That is enough. Krishna is called Bhavagrahi. He is seeing your mood. If you are holding the beads in your hand, your lips are chanting, your mind is wandering all over the world, and your ears are simply deaf. Then, so Prabhupada said simply, why you are talking about the mind? When someone said, Prabhupada, I am trying to chant, but my mind is getting distracted, Prabhupada became a little angry. Prabhupada said, what is this you are talking about? Mind. Where is the business for mind here? You chant and you hear. So beautiful. Chant and you hear. When you don't hear, recognize that my mind is taking me away. Then bring it back and start hearing. All that you have to do is chant and hear. You know the meaning of the Mahamantra. You know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sikshashtakam. Remember all these things and then chant. You remember what Prabhupada has told us. Remember the teaching. And then you chant and hear. Ultimately, it is chant and hear. That's all. Prabhupada is not asking anything more than that. Prabhupada is not saying, imagine Krishna's form, imagine Krishna's beautiful face with a smile, his raised eyebrows, which are like bows of the Cupid. He is not saying anything like that. He is only saying here, chant and hear. Is it difficult?
At times, Prabhuji, when you chant, also tears roll down. So you're not able to control that. It happens.
Ignore it.
You choke, Prabhuji. You cannot chant further.
If you ask the same question to Prabhupada, Prabhupada will say, ignore all this. Go on.
No, you don't know the reason why you're crying. You don't know, Prabhuji, when you chant, you just tears roll down. You cannot control it.
When we read Nectar of Devotion, somehow
very true,
postponing that. When we read Nectar of Devotion, we will come to know so many more things. There is called Pratibimba Abhas. There is something called Chaya Abhas. And then you have got pure name. These are all different things which have to be understood gradually. But we have to only remember, I should remain grateful to the holy name. I should remain grateful to the parampara, and I should go on.
Very true, Prabhuji.
Humble, grateful. With this, we have to go on chanting. Don't look back and say how much I have progressed. It's all right. You have to measure yourself. Definitely, you have to see, am I developing good qualities? If I am not developing good qualities, redouble your effort. Try sincerely, more. Because, take it from me, there is no other way. There is no other way. This is the only way.
And especially the kirtans and all, when you
Nam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam Nataha Parataropayaha Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. Brahmaji is telling Narada Muni, I have looked at all the Vedas back and forth. Na Ataha Parataro Upayaha. There is no other way than to chant the holy names of God.
very true.
From all the Vedas. So it's not a question of, am I able to chant attentively? When I am chanting, is my mind becoming peaceful? Am I able to attend to the sound of the vibrations? Forget it. Forget it means you know that you cannot give it up. Whether you are chanting effectively or not, you cannot. So what else I can do? Continue to chant and continue to improve the quality of chanting. Increase the quality, increase the quantity. Make your efforts. Accept that there is simply no other way. Is it okay, Anil Prabhu?
Prabhu, I have one more doubt.
Yeah.
There are times in the day when we do not have the beat bag with us.
Yeah.
Suppose we are in traffic. Some 10 minutes of, most of the traffic signals take 10 to 15 minutes nowadays. So I think the one way of developing that ruchi is by chanting in those also, by being aware of the circumstances around us. But then I think we should, that is easy for me to do, because that is some time when you don't have anything to do and you cannot do anything else. And I think, is it necessary that only the beats chanting counts, or even chanting whenever you have time, and not always possible for us to carry the beat bag with us?
Always remember Krishna. Never forget Krishna. These are the only two rules. There are no other rules. Satatam. Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu. Vismartavyam Najaduchit. Only two rules. Always remember,
Yes.
never forget Krishna. So, having said that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this process of chanting the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna.
Yes,
And he taught us to chant on the beats.
yes,
So, the 16 malas of chanting per day to which we are committing, that should be done on the beat.
yes.
You cannot say, no, in the traffic I counted without mala. No, that is not to be counted. You chant. Who is stopping you? You should chant. That's correct. Always chant.
Yes.
But these 16 malas which we are committing should be on the beats only. And at least every mala, no, without interruption, you should complete one mala. No interruption in the middle of chanting one mala.
Yes.
Please, complete that mala. And if you have to speak to somebody, speak. Then you start the next mala. If all 16, if you are not able to do at a stretch, then take a break after completing a mala. Right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So that your mind will become absorbed in that action. Not that you are talking to somebody, that thought, the trace of the thought is in your mind, you are continuing to chant.
Yes, Prabhu.
The quality of chanting will go away.
One more thing I observe is when I chant Prabhuji, for first 4 rounds, it might be difficult. After that, automatically the rounds keep going on. And most of the times I try to, like Prabhupada said, you should chant and hear nothing else. You should not do anything else. So I know that if I am not paying attention, I'm not aware of what I'm saying. Though I'm saying it correctly, it's mechanical and I'm not hearing it.
Yeah.
So the first 4 rounds are usually distracted, and then after that it becomes, I mean, if I sit in one place, you can finish whatever rounds you want to do. That is one thing I have observed about my chanting.
Yeah. The only care you should take is that suddenly you look at the counters and see, oh, 16 malas are over. But I did not hear anything. But some of the malas are finished. But I did not even hear one mantra also. It is possible. the brain is such a powerful instrument. It puts
Yes,
the
Prabhuji.
loop line, it is working.
Yes.
Loop line is working. The
Yes.
lips are moving, the sound is being produced, and beats are moving. The finger is moving
Yes.
the counter also. But still
Yes,
you may not
Prabhuji.
be aware. So that is
Yes.
not good chanting. Yeah.
Yes,
We should
Prabhuji.
hear every mantra and we should chant. That is why. That's why I said sincerely try to sincerely chant.
Yes,
That should
Prabhuji.
be our constant ending. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay. So the third category is embryo covered in womb. You try to meditate on these three examples, you will yourself realize very little covering, little more covering, complete covering. The fetus in the womb, what does it know? So the vegetation, the plants are like that. The plants are like that. So the plant and animals, they are not capable. They are completely helpless. But in the human form is a chance for the living entity to escape the entanglement of material existence. So my soul has got a human body now. Let me take best advantage of that and let me escape from the entanglement of material existence. So Prabhupada says, in the human form of life, one can conquer lust, the enemy, by cultivation of Krishna consciousness under able guidance. Nobody asked Prabhupada to write it here, but he wrote it here. That is his unlimited compassion. He doesn't want to leave you anywhere high and dry. Oh, I read this, but what he will do? How he will escape from this lust? It is covering me like a dust. What he will do? Then Prabhupada says, simply remember you have the human form of life, which is the most advantageous. Cultivate Krishna consciousness under guidance. Everything is taught. How to cultivate Krishna consciousness? Under able guidance. Look at how much thought Prabhupada has put into writing his purpose. How can we do any other activity in our life except read Prabhupada with complete surrender, submission? Okay, 39. Avrutam jnanam yetena jnanino nitya vairina kamarupena kauteya dushpurena analena cha. Thus, the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and burns like fire. So lust burns like fire. And the wise living entity is the pure soul. That wise living entity, when it is covered by this eternal enemy of lust, he becomes ignorant. That lust is ignorance. So that is why it's said like that. And Prabhupada says, Maitunya Agara. This material world is called Maitunya Agara. So for lust, the most gross manifestation of lust is sex pleasure. So a person who is trapped in the sex pleasure has absolutely no redemption. Having taken a human form of life, if one becomes a slave of sex pleasure, finished. And now you look at the world around you, everywhere there is bombardment of the sex pleasure on our sensibilities. All our senses are attacked. You cannot go to internet without something. You very carefully have to navigate wherever you go. Yes, is it not? So that is the kind of attack we are facing. But this is Maitunya Agara. Maitunya means sex. Agara means prison. This is a sex prison. We are all trapped here. Sex prison. So the Prabhupada uses the word shackles of sex life. In the ordinary prison house, criminals are kept within bars. Similarly, the criminals who are disobedient to the law of the Lord are shackled by sex. So much so that they think there is no higher pleasure than this. And they want to increase this pleasure as much as possible without realizing this is the shackles on my soul. This is going to prevent me from ever escaping from this material prison. So you can understand. Advancement of material civilization on the basis of sense gratification means increasing the duration of your stay in this prison. Right? Therefore, lust is the symbol of ignorance. So how does ignorance manifest? As lust. Okay. So I think we come to the end of our say. I don't know, we are somehow not able to. Today I thought we'll finish this chapter. Maybe tomorrow we'll finish. Hare Krishna. So just give me a couple of minutes. I will close the live stream and restart so that